noise. Kwara State University, please make some noise. Help them make some noise. The people from EXU, make some noise. If you are here and you are from Fupre, make some noise. UNAD, are we in the house? Nah. OOU, are we here? UNN, are we here? The next university, they say they're the oldest. We will know. Are you from UI? All right. Now we know, but we will show you. Futa, are we here? Unijos, are we here? Mountaintop University, are we here? All right, please help me make some noise. Uniport, did we come? Unizik, did we get to Lagos? They did not. OAU. All right, so they came. By the way, did Unical make the trip? Unical, we didn't make the trip. PTI, are we here? Lori, did you come? Please help him to make some noise now. Don't leave him alone. PAU, did you come? Lautech, are you in the house? Ajayi Crowther University, did they make it? Please help her make some noise. Gombe State University. Please make some noise with them. Modibo Adamawa University, are they here? Thank you. Uniben, did they make it? RSU, are they here? River State University? NDU, are you here? All right. Now, we must get ready. We must welcome them and we must show them. University of Lagos, are we here? You can do better. Great Nigerian students. Greatest of the greatest Nigerian students. Greatest greatest Bobo, and the great Nigerian students. Give yourselves a round of applause. So we're glad we're here, because this conference is actually for us. And I know that by the time you're leaving, you will definitely be better informed. Let me quickly say that NAPE is made up of geoscientists, explorationists, people in the upstream industry, professionals, and students. So it's nice you're here. NMG is an umbrella professional and scientific organization for those in the mining and mineral processing industry. And so once again, I welcome you, and I'm glad you're here. I'm also glad I'm here. To chair this meeting, I have the pleasure. I'm not too sure if he's here yet, but let me call. If he's here, he will come. Okay? The chairman of this occasion had been well selected, and so you will keep clapping until he comes here. I have the pleasure to call to this side of the table Chief James Orife, FNAP, FNMGS. Thank you, sir. It's a pleasure to have you. Thank you very much, sir. We're glad you made it. Thank you. Please keep clapping. Please keep clapping. Good morning, sir, and welcome. If there are university students, trust me, Nigeria University Commission is also involved. And so this morning, the Executive Secretary of NUC is ably represented by Professor A.B. Ekwola. Please come, sir, to the high table. Thank you very much. Representing our university management and the Dean of our Faculty of Science, Professor Elijah Oyeyemi. Please come, sir. The President of NAPE, Mr. Elliot Ibe, F. NAPE. Please come, sir. The President of NMGS, Professor Olatunji A.S., FNMGS. Please come, sir. Okay. It's always a pleasure to... Nice to see you. Good morning, sir. Yes, sir. The Nape University Assistant Program Chairman, Mr. Philip Ajebile, but I know he's busy, but please, let's see your face here first. When you have made your speech, we can release you, but please come. Dr. Allah is representing DGNGSA. Please come, sir, to the high table. The Vice President NMGS, Engineer Dr. Umar A. Hassan, FNMGS. Please come, sir. Mrs. Olajumoke Ajayi, MD Ingisia Nigeria Limited. Please come to the high table. Representing the MD CEO of MD Westerner Nigeria Limited, the Head of Geology and Geosciences, Mr. Adeyemi Adeniyi. Please come. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the person who had put all this together, the LOC chairperson, is my sister, Professor Mary Odukoya. Give her a round of applause. You've done well. I would recognize Joy Gabriel. She's a geophysicist from SLB. She will be giving one of the papers in the afternoon. I recognize your presence. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I think we will stop for now in introductions and we will kickstart the event. At this point, I crave your indulgence that we stand up for the national anthem. It will be followed by the University of Lagos anthem, and then we'll take the second stanza of the national anthem as our prayer. Please be upstanding. Thank you. Let's sit. Thank you very much. Let's give ourselves another big round of applause. Thank you. At this point, I want to recognize the executive committee members of NAPE and NMGS. Please give yourselves a round of applause. We thank you. You made today possible. Thank you. Now to welcome us, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please permit me to welcome the Chair, UAP, Mr. Philip Ajebili.
Greatest Bubu, greatest Baba. Good morning, everyone. All subsisting protocols duly observed. May I, on behalf of the members and executive committee of the Nigerian Association of Petroleum Explorationists, NAPE, and the Nigerian Mining and Geoscience Society, NMGS, welcome all our esteemed guests of honor, keynote speakers, sponsors, section chairs, presenters, distinguished members of the academia here present, and the industry members, student leaders, and all other students and participants in this conference. Welcome to the 11th NAPE NMGS mini conference. A round of applause to everyone here. I appreciate the leadership of the current NMGS and NAPE presidents. Thanks for their leadership. We all understand the economic situation in this country, and thanks to their sacrifice, we're able to have this event, and of course, from our various sponsors. Thank you very much for all you do. Also appreciate and thank all our individual and corporate sponsors. They really helped us in terms of bringing that spark, to bringing this event come to reality. Some months back, it was just like a dream, but today it is happening in our present here. Your generous inputs gave the spark for this program. I also want to thank the chief host of this mini conference, the Vice Chancellor of the University of Lagos, Professor Folashade Ogunsola, and our management team for the resources and the facilities like this one and that we're using to organize this program. I'm also grateful to the indefatigable members of the LOC, ably led by our powerful Professor Abiodun Odukoya. A round of applause for her, please. Just to thank her and her team. A lot of sleepless nights, a lot of planning all through the nights to make sure that we have, the best that we have here today. Thank you very much, ma'am. And also, we go straight to the team. The theme of this mini conference, Retooling Geoscience Education in Nigeria, Current Trends and Emerging Realities, was carefully selected to spur our interest and inspire our next generation geoscientists to adequately equip them to handle emerging challenges requiring geoscience expertise, which includes, but not limited to, environmental sustainability of our mineral exploration campaigns, application of artificial intelligence and machine learning techniques, our decreasing reserve replacement ratio, geoscience entrepreneurship, amongst others. These will be discussed further under our keynote topics and also in our lead paper presentations, as well as the oral and postal sessions that we'll be having, some today and then the main ones tomorrow. Clearly, our geoscience education needs to be nimble and agile enough to address these realities. One of the objectives of this mini conference is to create awareness and intentionally light a spark in our younger granites present here, and also chart a course to make them to be able to make maximum impact in our society. The technical teams have been divided into 5 focus areas: geoscience education in development of entrepreneurship and innovative mindsets, relevance of geoscience education in current energy transition program, digitalization and artificial intelligence in oil, gas, and mineral exploration, basic studies, exploration and exploitation of mineral resources, opportunities and current realities, and finally, environmental sustainability in mineral exploration. This 11th mini conference program consists also of 2 social events. We'll be having one this evening for networking and mentoring, and then the other one will be tomorrow, where we'll have our variety nights that will be hosted by our student community, and also the closing and award ceremony. Let me use this opportunity as well to make sure, encourage us to participate actively, get the full benefit of this mini conference, and as well for our senior members who are also present here to also participate and encourage our younger ones. I want to also thank my employer, the Shell Petroleum Development Company, SPDC, for giving me all the support I needed, to execute this role as the Nape-Nmgs chair, which involves quite a lot of movement, around the country. I welcome you once again to this conference, and I wish you a very rewarding experience and event in University of Lagos, Nigeria. Thank you for listening, and I welcome you all once again. Thanks.
We thank you, sir. Please give him another round of applause. The LOC chair is from the Faculty of Science. That's why the Dean is already seated. But let me recognize colleagues and friends who came from Faculty of Science. Professor Lawalare, please stand for recognition. Professor Ogokomi, Dr. Oyeyemi, please, it's welcome and thank you for the support for one of us. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we'll listen to the address by Mr. Elliot Ibien, F. Nape. Please give him a round of applause as he comes to the podium.
Good morning. Permit me to stand on the existing protocol set by the UAP chairman, including the GBO and the GBA. It is with great pleasure that I, on behalf of the Board of Trustees, the Advisory Council, and the Executive Committee of NAPE, welcome you all to the 11th Nape-Nmgs Students Conference with the theme Retooling Geoscience Education in Nigeria, Current Trends and Emerging Realities. I would like to express my gratitude to the Vice Chancellor, Faculty, and the Head of Department of Geology of this university, as well as the members of the local organizing committee comprising the EXCO members of NAPE and NMGS, including the members of other members of the LOC, for the efforts and work they have put in to make this conference a reality. I would like to appreciate our partner society, the NMGS, for the great collaboration tailored towards achieving a unified foundation for our student body, the general academia and research community. The Students' Conference is a key component of NAPE's University Assistance Program geared towards enhancing the continuous improvement of educational standards in Nigeria. The essence of the conference is to afford students the opportunity to showcase their geoscientific knowledge by presenting papers on petroleum, the environment, and other related issues. The conference also provides a platform for oil and gas producing and servicing companies to engage with some of the best talents on offer. With the theme of this year's conference being on retooling geoscience education in Nigeria, NAPE believes that identifying and incorporating a number of these emerging geoscience concepts into the geoscience curriculum of our tertiary institutions, a task that is past due. There is no better time to highlight this than this period where the energy landscape is shifting and new technologies are emerging at a rapid rate. The training, in addition to preparing these graduates for the oil and gas industry, which accounts for over 80% of the nation's income, should also include making geosciences education relevant to the infrastructural development of the economy, entrepreneurship in mineral exploration and exploitation, solid mineral development, environmental issues, and renewable energy. While strengthening geoscience education is an investment in the future of the nation and indeed the world, as well as in the future of the geosciences and geoscientists themselves, retooling strategies should not just be focused on the students, but also on the faculty. A clear roadmap for achieving this within a set time frame is advocated. Support for these retooling efforts also do not rest solely within the educational commissions, but is a collective responsibility that includes the academia and industry. Associations such as Nape and the NMGS does have a great role to play to provide vehicles similar to this conference to enable thoughts in this space to be properly articulated, as well as ensure input to the evolving geoscience curriculum and by influence on national policies on education. NAPE believes this conference will provide a veritable avenue for industry experts, academia, students, and decision makers to share experiences in formal and semi-formal settings. The conference will also feature other key highlights, which include technical peer presentations, inter-university quiz competitions, short courses, and engaging social programs, providing opportunities for knowledge sharing and networking. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want to urge that while at this conference, you share your thoughts, contribute to discussions, and network. The expectation is that we will all go away at the end of this conference with enhanced knowledge, improved skill sets, as well as the capacity to deploy them to the areas they are critically needed in the academia and industry. On behalf of NAPI, I wish you all a fruitful and rewarding conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. We'll also listen to the address of Professor A.S. Olatunji, FNMGS. Professor.
Should I start with greatest Nigerian student or the Gbos and Gbosas? Well, let me just follow in line with what the NAPI president has done to adopt the protocol that the UAP chair had established. But I must appreciate the chairman of this event, Mr. J.M. Orife, FNMGS FNAPE, past president of NMGS, past president of NAPE, and one of our living ancestors in the geoscience profession. I think you can clap. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir, for accepting to chair this event. And I don't take it for granted, sir, to bring you out of the house very early today. Thank you for coming. Let me also appreciate the presence of the past acting Vice Chancellor of the University of Ibadan, who is representing the Executive Secretary of the National University Commission, Professor Ekola. Thank you very much, sir, for coming. I'm going to end with Unilag. Don't worry, it's not out of spite, but in Yoruba land, the host is the biggest person to be appreciated. I also want to appreciate the NAPI president for allowing this tradition of collaboration to continue and for giving space to allow this to be done. So thank you very much. On behalf of NMGS, thank you. Our distinguished sponsors, I spoke to him earlier when I was introduced. I said, we are always grateful for the support you have been giving to the geoscience profession in terms of sponsoring our programs. And we hope we can continue to depend on you to continue to support us. So on behalf of the NMGS and NAPI, I say thank you to AD Western for the continued support. Thank you, sir. The biggest organization that has the largest number of geoscientists working in them in Nigeria is the Nigerian Geological Survey Agency, NGSA. And the Director General is currently in Perth, Australia, with the Minister of Mines, Minister of Minerals. You see, the thing is confusing now. The Minister of Mines, Solid Mineral Development, Solid Mineral Development, for down the great down whatever they call it. So he's not here, but he's ably represented by one of the Assistant Director, who is also the General Secretary of the NMGS, Dr. Goodwill, FNMGS. The UAP chair, you see, when he came on board as the UAP chair, then I was the Vice President of the NMGS in charge of student affairs. We actually started these discussions together about hosting the next Nape-Nmgs mini conference, and I'm happy that we have developed a very good working relationship, which also was transferred to Dr. Umar Hassan, the Vice President in charge of student affairs, now NMGS, who had worked assiduously with Mr. Philip Dr. Philip to ensure that this actual conference is alive. So thank you to the two of you, the UAP chair and Dr. Umar Hassan, FNMGS, the Vice President, NMGS, for doing this. It's not easy. Now let me come to the host. I want to start with the Vice Chancellor. It was not very easy to convince UNILAG to pick this event because we were coming very late when we decided on UNILAG, and I don't know how Professor Dukoya was able to do it. Maybe using the female touch, she was able to persuade the Vice Chancellor to have a buy-in. So, please help us express our gratitude to the Vice Chancellor and management for accepting to host this. Thank you very much. Of course, my dear sister and friend, you don't know, we share so many things in common. We were both supervised by the same supervisor. So we have been coming together from a very long time. Professor Mary Odukoya, thank you for stepping up to do this. I know you have lost some weight. We're going to give her an award soon for being able to do 2 conferences back to back. She was LOC chair for the Medical Geology Conference 2 weeks ago, and here she is again as the LOC chair for this medical conference. So a lot of applause for her. Distinguished students, I warmly welcome you all to the 11th mini conference for tertiary institution in Nigeria, holding in this great citadel of learning, University of Lagos. I think your slogan is the pride of the nation. This year's conference is the 4th to be jointly organized by NAPE and the NMGS. Work among themselves, receive mentoring from seasoned academics and industry professionals, and for them to showcase their knowledge of the diverse sub-disciplines of the geosciences through the presentation of technical papers and participation in academic challenges throughout the conference period. This year's themes for the mini conference, Retooling Geoscience Education in Nigeria, Current Trends and Emerging Reality, is so apt by the current privileged attempt by the Nigerian University Commission, National University Commission, to ensure that all the Nigerian universities accept the new CCMAS that has been introduced. This curriculum has generated a lot of interest and discussion, and some of them very controversial, especially among academic and professional societies. For us in the geosciences, we are particularly concerned because the proposed curriculum has jettisoned a lot of purposes that are dear to the geoscience profession, bringing in a lot of courses that are actually tangential and very relevant to the training of geoscience students in the country. A curriculum that will be provision for all basic courses that need to be done in the sciences, which are needed to prepare the geoscience graduates for the application of these in their own courses, cannot be said to be fit and proper for our educational system. The responsible professional society will be eyes for the future of the profession. We are not just complaining. We have worked with the Council of Nigerian Engineers and Geoscientists, which is a regulatory agency for professionals in this sector, to review the curriculum proposed by the NUC as it relates to the geosciences, mining engineering programs in Nigerian universities. We have identified the lapses in this document, and we have provided remedies of how those lapses can be attended to. And very soon, COMEC and the NMGS will be making a presentation to the National University Commission for consideration of this revised document and adoption for use for the geoscience and mining engineering program in Nigerian universities. We don't want to use the armchair critics. We want to identify what the flaws are, provide solution, and see how this can actually be made better. The need for retooling the geoscience education in Nigeria cannot be overemphasized. The impact of digitalization of teaching and learning environment demands such retooling. The future of geoscience education will be determined by the applications of artificial intelligence, machine learning, Internet of Things, and big data analytics. While the basic principles of the field will largely remain unchanged, new discoveries will challenge some long-held dogma as technology continues to push the frontier of human understanding of the earth, its resources, and processes. It has therefore become very important that the students in our tertiary institutions are prepared in such manners as to make them ready for the challenges of the fourth industrial revolution. It is my hope that this conference will lay the right foundation and signpost the path we all should tread as a nation. I wish to commend the organizing committee who have put in all efforts to ensure the success of this conference, especially under a very gruesome economic challenge. Commendation also is due to all the students who are participating in this conference. Your sacrifice will surely be rewarded with massive information and experience that will come your way at this conference. I think the students need to clap for themselves for coming to this conference. You deserve it. Give yourself another round of applause, please. Thank you. And lastly, permit me to commend the management and staff of the University of Lagos for agreeing to host this conference at rather a very short notice. Thank you all, and I wish you all a fruitful and rewarding conference experience. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Please, we can do better. I mean, we can. Permit me to recognize with us Professor Olobaniyi. Please give him a round of applause. One of our great professors. It's a pleasure to have you this morning. And I also understand that the students of Petroleum Training Institute, PTI, did not hear when I asked if they were here. So they have just sent to me that they are here. PTI students, can you make some noise? They're not even here. No. Please join them and make some good noise. Also, students from Olusegun Agago University of Science and Technology, Oketepupa, led by Professor Ehola, make some noise. Join them now. Don't forget, this gathering is to further network and to further get together as a body so that you can move the society forward even when you finish school. So please give yourselves another round of applause. All right, the people on that side, they didn't enjoy Lagos. You just came. Give yourself a round of applause if you enjoyed Lagos on that side and make some very loud noise. All right, they're here. At least they came and they have woken up. It's a pleasure to have everybody here once again. And I'm glad to say that representing the management of our university and our Faculty of Science is the Dean of Faculty of Science himself, Professor Elijah Oyeyemi. I would ask and crave his indulgence to come to the podium for his own address. Let's keep clapping until our Dean gets here.
Good morning, everybody. While I would have loved to stand by the 60 protocols, notwithstanding, I have to recognize some dignitaries in our presence here. First of all, on behalf of the Vice Chancellor of this great university, University of First Choice and Nation's Pride, Professor Folasade Ogunsola, ONFAS, I welcome you all to this great event. She will have loved to be here. She's a woman of so many functions. And that is one of the reasons why she cannot be here today. So may I recognize the chairman of this event, Chief James Orife, FNAPE, FNMGS, the representative of the Executive Secretary, NUC, the former acting Vice Chancellor of the Premier University, University of Ibadan, Professor A.B. Ikola, you're welcome, sir. The President of Nape, Elliot Ibe, FNAPE, you're welcome. The President of NMGS, Professor Olatuji A.S., FNMGS, you're welcome, sir. The head of department of geosciences, our own, Professor Udukoya. Thank you for organizing this event. The keynote speaker, Mrs. Ola Ajumake Ajayi, FNAP, you're welcome. Other dignitaries present here that I cannot mention. My colleagues from Faculty of Science, all the professors here present, I recognize you. Other cadres, you are all welcome. And of course, this event cannot be completed without the students that are here, because the event is actually organized for the students. I recognized all of you present here. You are welcome. So on behalf of the Vice Chancellor, I welcome everybody to this event. The last 3 addresses that were given I've actually summarized the reasons why we are here. And most importantly, I will employ the students that are here. This is a rare opportunity for every one of you. It is rare to come by. Some of you, most of the things that probably you have been taught in the classrooms, you are coming here to see the reality of the applications of most of the tools that were introduced to you during the course of your teachings, research, and everything that you have engaged in. I believe there may be some exhibitions here where you may have to go home with a lot of flyers. And by the time you go deep into those flyers, you may discover that this is where your career in future will begin. This is where you are likely to find your area of interest in the program that you are doing now. I will employ you to please pay attentive attention to everything that will be covered during this period. We have passed through the stages and we are still passing through the stage. We all attend conferences. When you go to conference, there's no way you will not learn a new thing. Even those that are teaching you, they are learning from the questions that you are going to ask from them. I can remember in the early 90s, when I was a graduate student, that was the first time I attended this NAPE conference at Mission Center then. So I was just telling the president that I used to be a member of NAPE when I was in the area of geophysics, before I decided to move to other areas of physics. But he said jokingly to me that once a member, you remain a member, because I still believe that my area of physics is still relevant to this area. I'm in the area of space physics, which is the upper atmosphere. So I implore all of you to please do pay a critical attention to what you have come here to do. Don't be distracted with a lot of things that are going around you. And I believe at the end of the day, you will go home with a lot of experiences. I congratulate those of you that are able to make it to University of Lagos for this conference. So on behalf of the management, I pray and I wish that this event will be a very successful, and by the time you are going back to your destinations, by His grace, you will reach your destination without any form of calamity. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, our dean, sir. Thank you. I was told that we still have students who think we did not call them. We will call you. And so if you are from Funai, where are they? Please make some noise. Help them to do better now. University of Maiduguri, where are they? You're welcome. All the way. Welcome. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm glad to say that this morning we have Professor Smart Obiora, NMGS, in our midst. Please give him a round of applause. Professor Wale Akimosi, we welcome you. Please give him a round of applause. Mr. Abiodun Ogunjobi, NAPE, and the president-elect of NAPE. Please make it louder. Thank you. We now welcome the chairman for his welcome address. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the chairman's opening speech and remarks, I'm glad to welcome to this podium Chief Jim Orefe, FMNGS, FNAPI. Keep clapping.
Thank you very much. Point of correction, I'm not a chief, and I cannot be a chief. All protocols observed. It is a privilege to be amongst you today. I don't take it for granted because there have only been 11 of these conferences in the past so many years. And to be given opportunity to be the chair of a conference, the mini conference, among students is a very rare privilege, actually. I was in your institutions 55 years ago. And I'm sure when I look back, a lot of things has changed since then. The theme of this conference is to retool the geosciences. When you say retool, what does that mean? You have a tool already in place. You want to change or adapt the tool or modify the tool. So I'm going to address the remarks in 3 areas. What was the previous toolbox? What is the present toolbox? And what are we expecting to be retooled into? And in this regard, is going to affect the quality of the teaching and learning and attitudes. What do I say? Attitudes. Because the attitude when I was in school and now are not exactly the same. And I must confess that to you. Whether you accept it or not, I am here to tell you as a father and a grandparent. Also, we want to look at the retooling of the facilities in the schools and universities and the quality of the students. It is when you are going to retool something, what is your input? In this case, the students are the products of all the teaching and all the effort that we made in the years past. Today, things have changed as far as the program of admission into universities are. In my days, we have the benefit of having a calculator. What do I have with the slide rule? That was all. Now, in those days also, did your exams, either prelim or whatever it was, or A levels, and you could admit it. These days, I'm hearing about classes being in the 60s and the 100s. That is not a geosciences class. When the geosciences class above 45 or 50 students, that's the maximum you take. So that is number one retooling. The basic thing, you must retool the size of the class. And also,
you must retool the quality of students that are brought into geosciences. Geosciences is not a place where people who have anything to do are admitted to. No. It's an applied science, and it's a science that, as far as I'm concerned, only the best minds, because we think in 3 dimensions. Not everybody is gifted with thinking in 3 dimensions. And if you have in 3 dimensions, you should not be in the geosciences. So that is retooling the brain and the thinking and the mind of you students. Now, the parent toolkit requires the following because of the various setbacks. When I left school, you could work with that in the country and do that in the whole world. Any university will take you. If they saw your results, you are from Nigeria, so come and take. People got admissions to do so many researches, opportunities in more than 4 universities in my time. They didn't leave this country because of the type of faculty they had. At that time, our faculties and professors were mixed. They were not strictly Nigerian. There was a very large amount of international professors and lecturers in the universities. That has to be established. It has to be established because that is the only way you can exchange ideas with other international intellectuals worldwide. That is not so much in the system now. So in that area, we are strong. Now, the quality of our curriculum also has to change, and the composition of the curriculum. Also, our faculty, the professors and lecturers also need opportunities to update themselves. And this can only be done by cooperation with institutions. And also, in my days, a lot of my professors were excellent examiners in America, in the UK, in Japan, in Germany. I don't know if that happens now. That also enables you to have access to excellent universities as in Nigeria. Equipment availability. You cannot train in geology without equipment. You cannot train in geoscience without equipment. And I think that's also an area that needs to be retooled and funded. You don't know about building, tech fund buildings, no. It is what is in those buildings that is important. What is those buildings house? What are the benefits of those buildings, not the 4 walls? Also, how many of our professors go on sabbaticals these days? What percentage? In those days, sabbaticals are watched all over the whole place. And this was how the intellectual ability and capacity of both the academia and the students were, I would say, polished and updated. Now, the curriculum we are talking about has to change because a geoscientist can employ anybody. Anybody, if he wants to be a businessman. You can apply an accountant, you can apply a pharmacist, you can apply a doctor, you can, depending on what he is doing. But you have to have the need to employ a geoscientist. Geoscientists are not easy to employ unless you already have a large organization. So what I want to tell you, you have to retool your attitudes and your thinking to becoming work providers, becoming entrepreneurs. So I will introduce you today the word geopreneur. You have to become geopreneurs when you leave school. That is the only way you can do as needed to be done. And also, there are the issues of field mapping. You cannot be a geoscientist if you have not done field work. Yes, there is theoretical work. Yes, there is theoretical work, but there is also the technical and practical work. It's an applied science. And an applied science is what you use to produce or do something. These days, security has prevented mapping in very many places. And also, the facilities for mapping are no longer quite as generous as they used to be. The new toolbox. I have told about the old toolbox, which was in my days. I have told about the new toolbox, which is you, and the new toolbox. It will require necessary of teaching and the content of the curriculum to include the current realities, such as climate change and its consequences, environment and energy transition, alternative energy studies, as well as for us, that is, new sustainable energy directions. Also, you have to think about your environmental transformation. That is, what do you need to do to fight the Sahara, which is called more or less known as desert encroachment. You also need to have to build yourself in AI. If you are not learning coding, go and learn coding, because that is the direction they're going to require in a few years' time. AI is now on the horizon. You will sooner or later not need to have a captain in your vessels because of AI. You program the vessel, it goes, and does what it wants to do, and comes back. But you must know and have the capacity of understanding how to develop AI to meet your needs. AI is the most intelligent tool of this decade, and anyone who does not acknowledge that is not living in the present, neither in the future. And the future does not only include you as university students. You have to go below grade level to secondary schools. SS2, SS3. They must understand all the things I've talked about, like environmental impacts of the present climate, new energy requirements, and all the other things that we'll be discussing today. As students, you must be aware of your responsibilities. I must think about them now. You know, futuristic thinking and not be looking for jobs. Today, I am tasking you to become geopreneurs. we need to have, as I was talking about, secondary schools, because many students do not know what it is to become a geoscientist and the impact of geosciences on society. This is geosciences. That is geosciences. Your medicines you're taking are geosciences. The journey you is geosciences. The car you drive is geosciences. There is nothing you do that hasn't got a geosciences contribution in this life. Now we are talking about electrical vehicles. How you power them? You are the ones going to do the work. Because all the rest of our batteries will require specific minerals that you have to be mined. And who are going to be mined? Who are going to go to mine those mines? It's you. Either you're a geochemist or you're a geophysicist or whatever area of the sciences you are in, it will require your intellect and your dedication. Finally, we also have to think about our own strategy for energy transition. We cannot leave it to the whole world to tell us how you want to live your lives. It is you who do your decision. And you must be definite and determined about how you want to do it. And that means you have to do a lot of work. It's not going to be a free ride for anybody. If as Africans you want to succeed, you want to progress, I can tell you one thing. I don't know about other countries. Nigerians are very talented people. Nigerians are very talented people. So I am challenging you that in the next 10 years, we want to see amongst you people who are owning gold mines, people who are owning lithium mines, and all other rare earth minerals. That is what you should be thinking about. We are not only retooling the discipline, we are also retooling your minds. Mr. President of Nape and NMGS and the academia here, I don't want to talk for too long, but I think we have to address the input, the output, and the environment in which students study. So I'm therefore asking you to please, in your training your students, let them go for courses in economics, in accounting, as alternatives or electives. So that when they come out, they are not just looking for jobs. They are thinking of how to create jobs and employ people. Thank you very much.
We can do better. We can have better. At least now we know that we can be geopreneurs. So let's begin to think entrepreneurship, even as we spend the next 2 days knocking our heads together. Another round of applause for the chairman. Now we would listen to the keynote addresses. And the first keynote address is from Mrs. Olajumoke C. Ajayi, FNAPI, MD CEO, Ingentia Energies Limited. To read our citation, I have the honor to call Dr. Geraldine Anoku to come read our citation.
A very good morning, everyone, and all protocol duly observed. Olajumoke Cecilia Ajayi has citation. Olajumoke is the CEO, Ignitia Energy Limited. She holds a bachelor's and a master's of science degree in applied geophysics from the Federal University. Can I please kindly implore our keynote speaker to please come up here? Thank you very much. Thank you, Mom. She holds a bachelor's and a master's of science degree in applied geophysics from the Federal University of Technology, Akure, and the University of Lagos, respectively. She started her career with Mobil Producing Nigeria Unlimited, ExxonMobil, before joining Ignitia Energies Limited. Olajumoke worked in Asharami Energy Limited, the upstream arm of Sahara Group, Centrica Resources Nigeria Limited, British Gas, Peak Petroleum Limited, and Degacomic Consulting. Having successfully established exceptional abilities in the oil and gas industry for over 2 decades, Olajumoke rose through the ranks to become one of the first female managing directors in the upstream sector in Africa. A remarkable feat that makes her one of the foremost practitioners in Africa's oil and gas sector. Her elevation to the position of Managing Director of Asharami Energy, a subsidiary company of Sahara Group, came at a time when oil prices crashed from a height of USD 100 to below 30 USD. She innovatively trailblazed, leading Asharami Energy from an exploration company to a producing company. She took the company from 0 barrel production to about 20,000 barrels per day. Thank you. She has tremendous capacity for leadership, spearheading the exploration and production team that successfully drilled and delivered Asharami Energy's first 5 wells, initiated and delivered Asharami Energy's first unitized field with Asharami Energy as the operators of the field. She delivered 5-year PSC work program in 2.5 years, a first of its kind in the industry. Olajumoke is known to innovatively deliver quality projects earlier than the norm and cheaper than the norm without compromising safety and security. By her unique style of executing projects, she saved Asharami Energy several millions of dollars. She has a vision to effectively transmit her knowledge as a foremost geoscientist with far-reaching regional and global influence on oil and gas-related subterrestrial activities by mentoring young professionals. Olajumoke is a member of the American Association of Petroleum Geologists, AAPG, Society of Exploration Geophysicists, SEG, and the Nigerian Association of Petroleum Explorationists, NAPE. She is a past vice president of NAPE, the first female to hold that position in its 40 years of existence. Thank you. Olajumoke is reputed for her ability to onboard notably inspiring and VIP speakers to speak on relevant topics to NAPE's activities, conferences, and women in geosciences and engineering events. Olajumoke is a recipient of numerous local and international awards. She was recognized by the AfricanShapers.com as one of the first 100 outstanding female executives in the African oil and gas industry. Rated one of the first 50 most inspirational energy executives by Africa Oil Week and Lean in Energy 2021, and rated in 2022 as an outstanding woman in energy, that's Upstream International, by Women in Maritime and Energy, just to mention a few. She's committed to philanthropy and volunteering for exalted causes. She is passionate about supporting children, women, emerging young entrepreneurs, and young professionals. She is a member of the Governing Council of Elizabeth University and a board member of Shen Nigeria Limited. Blessed with a supportive and understanding family, the Upstream Amazon is an icon in the sector and is sure to remain an inspiration to potential oil and gas sector experts. It's a privilege for us to welcome Ms. Olubuke Cecilia Ajayi. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. I'm happy to be here, and it is an honor to be a keynote speaker at this event. I'm not taking it for granted, so I say a very big thank you to the organizers of this program. Thank you very much. I'm not new in UNILAG. From my citation, you heard that my master's, I observed my master's here. So I'm in, so I'm at home. And not only me, my husband actually finished from this university. Thank you very much. I was supposed to be in a meeting. As we are here now, the Governing Council meeting of Elizabeth University is going on. I had to excuse myself to ensure that I'm here. And 2 days ago, we had to fix an emergency board meeting for this afternoon. So please permit me to leave after this speech, because I have to be back in the office for the board meeting. So the topic of today, which is the theme for this program, which is retooling geoscience education in Nigeria, current trends and emerging realities. This theme is really apt. And when I give my speech and my keynote address, you will see the reason it is a very, very appropriate theme at this time. And I think the students should thank the organizers for coming up with this theme. The opportunity you have today, during our own time, we didn't have it. That was a period when you will all queue up at the library to ensure you get a textbook to read for your courses. And it could be only one single textbook on that topic, and everybody will be, struggling to have that textbook to read. But today you have Google, you have different ways of obtaining information. You have this type of conferences where you can come to and learn and relearn. So I implore all of you to take it seriously. You may be here today just gisting, networking, and the speakers are speaking, you have no biro or notes to put things down. You see, the opportunity, after the program, the opportunity is gone and you can't have it again. So every opportunity you have, take good advantage of it. So if you don't have a pen or biro with you, ensure you hold your phone and type out everything you get here today and go back to reflect on them. It is very important. So now to the topic of today. You see, when we were in the university, when I was in FUTA, I studied applied geophysics. When I was in 300 level, there were some courses that looked abstract, but we had no choice. We had to read to pass. But I was privileged to observe my 6 months industrial training in ExxonMobil. That's Mobil Producing Nigeria Unlimited then. When I got there, my project was, my supervisor showed me how to interpret seismic manually, 2D seismic interpretation. I was on that project for like 3 months of the 6-month period. And when I finished, I went to him, showed it to him, and he said, everything you did was rubbish. I started weeping in the presence of the lecturer. He was, he was embarrassed. I said, after spending 3 months, sir, I was bringing this thing to you. Why are you telling me? He now told me where I went wrong. I went back. I just made up my mind and said, I have to go back. I must get it right. Do you know that what I earlier spent 3 months doing, I later spent 2 weeks. And I went back and it was excellently done. And that gave me that foundation, gave me that understanding of seismic interpretation, 2D seismic interpretation. I went back to school they gave me data for deep lines, strike lines, paper logs for my final year project. I had an A in my final year project. I even taught some of my classmates who weren't opportune to observe their internship in, so they also understood it and it helped them. And that was the beginning of my interest in the oil and gas, and it helped me in my 500 level. There were some courses we did, that practical aspect now gave me a better understanding of the theory that I was taught in school. Why did I give this story? While I go on. So when we talk of geoscience, geosciences, there are different areas of geoscience, but many of us are after the oil and gas, oil and gas, oil and gas. That's not the only area of geoscience. You have different departments. In Nigeria, we have about 52 universities studying geoscience, different geoscience courses. For instance, Federal University, I think you have about 22 in the Federal Universities. State University, we have 16 state universities or 17, and private, only a few of them, but in total, there are about 52. And you know that Federal University, when it comes to funding, you are not getting what you need. When it comes to state university, you are not getting the funding required. But in the private university, because parents, pay a lot, at least they are getting some, but it's not up to what it should be when you compare to the developed countries. So let's look at the different geoscience subjects. You have geology, geosciences, you have geology and mining, marine geology, you have geology and mining, applied geophysics, applied geology, geology and petroleum studies. Industry training is very, very important. Practical training is very, very important. I'm talking here to both students and lecturers. Lecturers also need this practical part of the training, because if we don't go with the trend, we will lose out. We will be living in the maybe it's 19th century when we are already in the 21st century. That is very, very key. So training and workshop for lecturers, very important. How can this happen? We must have collaboration with maybe research departments of the industry. For instance, the oil and gas industry. There must be collaboration. Lecturers can be seconded to the industry for a certain period of time to gain practical knowledge, gain knowledge of the, the current day way of doing things. Not only in the area of interpretation of that, even field knowledge. Let me cite an example of acquisition. When we talk of acquisition, we talk of geophones if it's on land. We talk of hydrophones if it's on offshore. And we now talk of cables. When you look at what you know about acquisition, you carry geophones, the cables, many people, you have about 1,000 plus people on the field moving from one point to the other. But do you know that acquisition, seismic acquisition has gone beyond carrying of cables? Now you use nodes, Even within this university, seismic acquisition can be done without people knowing. Just nodes positions in different areas. But if you don't go out there, you won't know that things have changed. If you don't do research, you won't know that things have changed. So these are things that we really need to take seriously. If we really want to be, because the market, once students are out of here, they're going into the labor market. And they go into the labor market, not only those who finish from federal university or state university that will get into that labor market. You have people from private universities there. You have students that their parents sent abroad and they've come back. They're also in that same labor market. And you all go for the same interview. So if you are not equipped with what will enable you, project yourself out there, then you will just be walking around looking for a job and you are not getting. Gone are those days when IOCs take students from the universities and put them to 1 year training, thorough training before they employ them. These days, we have indigenous companies taking up assets, divested assets, they are marginal fields. These people, when they start, because they've invested money in signature bonus and all that, what they want ready-made staff to come in and just hit the ground running. So bringing in fresh graduates is not as common as it used to be in those days. And that is the reason why it is important from the university, you have that practical knowledge. When you have the practical, I cited the example of what happened to me when I did my IT. That really gave me, how many months did I spend there? But it gave me the foundation. It helped me in my final year. And all those courses that looked abstract, I went back to read them. They were simple, but because it was only theory, there was no practical. So I want us at the university to look at ways by which we can bring this into our curriculum. We have to, when the chairman was talking about curriculum the other time, it was as if he saw my notes. We really need to review our curriculum, do less of theory. Let's bring the reality into it. Let's bring the practical into it. Let's work together with the industry. Let's share knowledge. Let's work together with the industry. I know we have many people in the industry who love lecturing. Let's see how we can have, industry people come here, maybe spend 3 months in the university, teach them what is happening there, so that the students can confidently put on their CVs that they have this experience from the university. So that when they get to the labor market, if they go for interview, they can confidently answer those interviews. But another thing, I'm not leaving it, students don't leave it to your lecturers alone. The good thing is that you can see the world we are in now, the internet is there for you. Let me cite an example of a student in a private university. She's on 5 points, studying mechatronics engineering. What is she doing? She's in a private university. You will think they have all the tools. All the tools are not there. For a mechatronics engineering student, it's not a common course in Nigeria. But what has she gone to do herself? She attends lectures with university in India. Not that she paid for it, but if you go to the internet, YouTube, there's a way you can search and say, and what she got that is helping her to be able to interpret what they do in school and answer a question properly, that has placed her on 5 points, all through. She's now going to 500 level, but she's been on 5 points from 100 level to 400 level. So what has helped her is at her own free time, she goes to the YouTube, go to that university in India online and listen to what they're, and it helped her. So she went out of her way. You understand what I'm saying? To help her to better understand her course. So do that as students. This is an opportunity for you. You should help yourself. Have your destiny in your hands. You can't say, yes, you are in a federal university. You are not privileged to be in private university or go abroad. I'm here standing today. I did my first degree in FUTA, second degree in UNILAG. My PhD, I'm currently doing it in FUTA. So I have not gone out of the country, and I am here where I am today. What have I done? I helped myself to develop myself. So please, take advantage of the age you are in. The internet is there. Instead of browsing and going on Instagram and all that, focus on what will put food on your table tomorrow. And how can you do it? Is by helping to develop yourself. The university will do what they can do, but go an extra mile to help yourself. Software development. You know, the chairman also mentioned coding. Do you know that these days, even before I left Ingentia, I left Asharami Energy October last year to be 1 year next month. Before I left, there were some young graduates we trained, and we put them in different departments. There were 2 of them that we told to come up with, we've got to know that they've started coding from when they were in school. And we told them, give them this challenge, come up with an application that we can use in the reservoir engineering department. And those guys went on to do that. They are an asset in that company today. And they were identified because they went on their own to learn coding. And we discovered that they've developed application without just as a passion, you know, and that helped them to secure that job, and they are in charge of that, and they developed that application, and the company is currently reviewing it. But if they didn't go out of their way to learn that, would they have been seen as you know, a key staff in that company, people that they reckon with? So please, no matter what, how little it is, instead of you wasting money on different things that are not necessary, do what you can to develop yourself. Internship and industry practice, partnership, we can also do that. Do you know another thing private university do that is different here, that we, federal and state, can learn from, is you can ensure, instead of leaving your student to go for IT internship at year 4 or year 3, from year 1, after, instead of wasting time after during the long vacation, get them to go for internship, even if it's 1 month, let them go. 200 level, let them go. 300 level, every bit, everything they get there, their CV, they'll start building it, and the knowledge they come back to school to share. So that is one of the ways by which we can bridge the gap. That is one of the ways by which we can do what? Bridge the gap. I've talked about what lecturers need to do, and I've also touched on what students need to do. If you look at the Industrial Revolution, things are changing. Nothing is static. Everything is, you have to move with the trend. If you see, I saw, there was a day I was talking to a primary 3 girl, and she was solving mathematics, and you know, she solved it so well. When I thought, that topic, I think that topic, I was taught that topic when I was in class 2 in secondary school. But primary 3 solving it, and what is it? Because the competition is there. Everybody is moving. You can't say that what they taught us when we were in school, in primary school and secondary school, is what your school will still teach at this time. Then those students will be left behind. So you have to do what? Move. Look at the Industrial Revolution. You know, coal came to be in 1784. And in 1870, we started having gas, electricity. That was the second revolution, and the third was in 1969. That was when electronics and nuclear came to be, and we are in the fourth. You have internet, you have renewable energies, you have AI, you have artificial intelligence. You know, you have so many things happening. You have cyber physical system, internet of change. You enter rooms these days without putting on the light comes up. You know, you have smart houses. So many things are happening. Even very soon, you will be in your car. It's even happening. You sit in the car, just press a button, and it takes you to wherever you are going without anybody driving. So things are changing, and you have to change with that. When we studied geophysics, or when the chairman studied geophysics or geology, you know, then nobody knew what it was really all about. When I was about going to study it, I thought it was physics, geography and physics. I didn't understand what it was all about, you know. So now, why am I saying this? Things are changing. Take advantage of it now. Learn it now before it becomes what is known to everybody. Learn it so that you can be the first to, you know, to make a living out of it. The world is going digital. I talked about seismic interpretation, paper interpretation in those days. So nobody does that again. If you go to offices before, files, you see files. Now it is paperless approach we are operating. And another thing, when computer came and we're storing things in external drives, storing in computers, these days you store where? You store in the cloud. You don't need anything to, so things are changing. If anybody steals my laptop, for instance, if they steal my laptop today and say they want to see any data, if everything is stored in the cloud, nobody, if you steal my laptop, you just open it, it will be useless because there's nothing saved on the laptop, it's in the cloud. So create access to document, and it creates access to document anywhere in the world you are. So how can you take advantage of, this type of changes we talked about? So you can have virtual partnership with other universities. So I'm talking to the university now. This approach, they use it outside Nigeria, they use it overseas. You can be affiliated to a university, but not by just saying I'm affiliated to this. There can be a plan that you have with the university and have virtual partnership. You can have workshops, they can organize programs, practicals and all that. Then two universities here can come together and they can showcase what they have. In the process, you have a live learning. You learn, those practical things we talk about from those people, and you do it virtually. Once the internet and the Wi-Fi is available, that can be done. So we can have that virtual partnership with other universities to attend classes, practicals together. It can happen amongst national universities and it can happen among international universities. And thirdly, I'm looking at emerging reality here. We talked about artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence power algorithm to analyze vast amounts of data. Now, when we look at workstations and we pick seismic lines, we pick faults, we interpret, we generate, those things are done with algorithms. So it's more or less like it's artificial intelligence that is in play there that helps to generate structural mouse, fault, and seismic interpretation. So let's now look at the opportunities that is available to you as geoscience students. I know that some of you are concerned. They are saying that, very soon oil and gas will not, oil will not be used anymore. How useful are we? What's our career path like? Some are even regretting coming into this field. There are so many opportunities. It is not compulsory that you must all work in the oil and gas industry. The oil and gas industry is good. You have the upstream, you have the midstream, you have the downstream. Look at the mining industry. We are so blessed in this country. We have solid minerals. If we had done what we need to do with solid minerals in this country, by now we will be producing steel. All the drilling tubulars and all the, even the Ajaokuta steel company will be functioning. Many geoscientists will work there. If we work on those ones, and with our mining industry, solid minerals, we mine them, we do all that, jobs are available. So for geoscientists, it is not only in the oil and gas industry. Who does not drink water in his house? These days, there's nothing like water corporation. In those days, the power water to your house. But these days, many people, I don't know if there's any house in this Lagos where you don't have boreholes or well or all that. Who are the people drilling boreholes? It's part of our work. It is part of our work. When you talk of bathymetric survey, it is part of our work. So when you look at the branch of geosciences, it's just a lot. And there are things that you can come out of the university, with your friend, you can come together to start your own business, taking advantage of what you have learned. You can be a lecturer, you can go into renewables, the opportunities abound. Even the media, web, what's it called? Coding and all that, the opportunity abounds. So I'm trying to rush everything so that I don't waste your time. But in conclusion, I would say that geoscience in Nigeria stands to benefit immensely from embracing artificial intelligence and software technologies. Nigerian universities can prepare their students, lecturers, for geoscience challenges of the 21st century by integrating advancement into education, fostering research, which is very key, nurturing industry partnerships. The future of geosciences is undoubtedly intertwined with digitization, data science, artificial intelligence, and so on. It is essential to equip our educational institutions accordingly. Please, I'm happy that this conference today is with, it was organized by NAPE and NMGS. You know, let's continue to get close to the industry. The industry can help to equip the university, at least to some extent, because we can't wait for our government. Whatever it is you need, get in touch with the companies who have program for universities, and let's see how they can help, at least to provide the some of the relevant equipment required. So it is essential to equip our educational institutions accordingly. This transformation will not only elevate the quality of geoscience education, but also position Nigeria at the forefront of innovative and sustainable resource exploration. Please, students, if you have not picked anything from what I've said today, just go home with, I want to have my destiny in my hand. Whatever I can do to ensure that I make it in life, I will do. I am here, my lecturers are trying their best, but I will go and do research, take advantage of the internet. I will not sit on Instagram or Snapchat on all that. Go, and there will be time for pleasure, but take this time as a time when you build your future. God bless you all.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen and dear students, please let's give her a warmer and a better round of applause. We will not release you until we do two things. And so permit me to say that in our usual way, we will say a big thank you to you. I want to call on the president of NAPE to please help us say thank you to her, to present a plaque to her. It's our show of appreciation of her coming. Thank you.
On behalf of NAPE and NMGS, and also the organizers of this conference, I want to thank Mrs. Olajumoke Ajayi F. NAPE for these very revealing and insightful talk this morning, and for always being there for both associations. Thank you very, very much.
All right, because she also must be part of the pictures. Please, sir, don't bother to go. Permit me to invite the people on the high table to join in a group picture before she leaves finally. And while they're taking their own pictures, students, we can also do some selfies with ourselves. If you have met somebody from Unimide or PTI and you feel I need to take, and this lovely auditorium is a good ambience for you to take pictures. So you can use that opportunity and take pictures with yourself. Make sure you take pictures with 4 people. Do selfies with 4 people. And if I were in your shoes, I'll stand here so that I can take pictures with them. If I were in your shoes. Let's do that in the next 2 minutes before we go. Don't lose this opportunity. You must make a memorial of coming to University of Lagos. if you take those pictures, please, you can then go and post it and tell people you were at the 11th Nape-Nmgs mini conference for tertiary institutions. At least people will know that you are serious about what you're doing, and you can begin to do what Mrs. Ajayi has asked you to do. Thank you very much. I'm going to bring up the second keynote speaker. And I'm glad to say that the Managing Director, ND Western Engineer, Eberechukwu Oji. Please give him a beautiful round of applause. By who? Oh, okay. Ably represented by Mr. Adeyemi. It's a pleasure to have you, sir. Please come to the podium.
Good afternoon, all, and all protocols observed. I'm representing my CEO in this conference, Engineer Eberechukwu Oji, who is unavailably absent today. I had to be called up from Warri yesterday to be at this meeting today. So I'll go through his slides, and I believe I will do justice to all that he has put in there. Can we have the, yes, I'll go through it with all this outline to talk a bit of geosciences, the key branches, just as we have heard from earlier speakers, and the historical development of geoscience in Africa, and what is the impact of geoscience education in Nigeria as of today. And then we'll talk about Nigeria's mineral resources and the challenges faced by geoscience education in Nigeria. Then we look at the way forward to retooling geoscience education in Nigeria. I believe all this has been touched by earlier speakers, and I will not go again to be repeating them. Actually, to me, it looks as if I'm coming to give the summary of what everybody has said. And it's like all of us spiritually, we're talking to each other in putting this together for this conference. Let me just go to the first one, which is the brief of geoscience. Now, as you all know, geoscience is the study of the earth. When you say the earth, you are talking of the oceans, the atmosphere, rivers, lakes, the ice sheets, glaciers, soils, the complex surfaces that you walk around, the rock interior, when you now break the rock and you make slice and look at it, and the metallic core of the earth itself. You can see that geoscience involves so many areas. And also, in the Wikipedia, the earth science is a branch of science that deals with the physical, chemical, and biological complex solutions, synergistic linkage of the Earth's four spheres. That is, you are looking at the biosphere itself, the hydrosphere, the atmosphere, the geosphere, everywhere. I mean, as a geoscientist, you need to be in one of these areas to perform. India is going to, went to moon sometimes ago, just in the last 3 weeks, and they went to a place where other nations that have been going there have not been to. That's the south pole of that same moon. And geologists will be there. What do? Collect the stone, collect everything, and then come back to the earth and analyze it and infer what they can see based on their studies. And that, at the end of the day, all these efforts are being used to improve the earth. Can you just skip this? Don't worry, people have talked about it. Now, if we have to look at the historical development of geoscience education in Nigeria, in the colonial era, I mean, the historical development of geoscience education was primarily driven by the interest of the colonial powers. You see, France, Germany, America, they were coming to Africa not because they love me and you, I can tell you that. It's because they realized that, oh, there are raw materials for their needs, where? In Africa, in our environment. So they bring all their experts to come and look at those areas. And we, the Africans, we were not there. I mean, if you talk of the 40s, 30s, 1930s, 1940s, there are not many people who are African origin that are into this exploratory work being done by the Europeans or the Americans. Then after that, in the 1950s to the 1960s, there were changes. Now, many African countries have gained their independence around that time, inclusive of Nigeria in 1960. During this period, now with newfound sovereignty, there was a growing recognition of the need to develop indigenous expertise in geosciences. So, at independence, every African nation now began to establish universities and research institutions, and some of which included geosciences department to train local geoscientists and the earth scientists. Next slide. So it came the era of 1970s to 1990, which is different from what it was in the 60s and 50s. Now, the African government now started to invest more in education, including the expansion of geoscience programs and research. Then, geoscience education diversified to include fields such as environmental geology, economic geology, hydrogeology, geophysics, reflecting a broader societal and environmental concern being tailored, to our own needs. And African universities then began offering geoscience discipline, allowing for specialization and research opportunities. That was another era. Now in the millennium, that's the year 2000 to present, there are now regional cooperation and initiatives by the African Union, Mining Vision, and the Pan-African Geological Institute that came together to address the common challenges and promote sustainable geoscience development. Even in my own situation, I think I started with the early people. I mean, most of them were on this table earlier. If I take an aspect of geoscience which I've been involved, I've seen so many changes from the time I was in the university and now. Even starting from the time I was in university, even before I got there. During my own time, when we were looking for a university to attend, we don't do one jump. We collect form from each university and do the entrance exam, and then before you are admitted into that university. A number of us in those days, I know we have people like that in this group now. a number of us in those days, our mind was in, oh, I want to be a medical doctor, and which was my own intention too, of going to you are laughing at me. Which was my intention of going to the university. And I started preparing myself right from my A-level time at Federal School of Art and Science, which is today's King's College by Ozumba there. Now, we did all the physics, chemistry, biology, and mathematics. So, when I got to the university, they said, all the spaces for medicine has been filled. What happened? We had good scores in our A-levels now. Why are you saying you cannot take everybody? I said, no, we have just 50 spaces for our students, and it's already overfilled. Okay. Then a number of us just insisted, says, that medicine, no, I must study it. And we went around asking. I said, yes, after the first year, that is, you do your first semester exam, your second semester exam, if you have A all through, you can be considered for a transfer to whichever faculty you want to go. We all took that hook, line, and sinker. We prepared. First semester, we had A's all through. We know ourselves, about 15 of us in my set. We had A in the first semester. Second semester, we had A all through. And now, we said, okay, what is the strategy we are going to use? We went to the medical department first. He said, sorry, Prof, we have made A's all through. So we want to transfer from Faculty of Science to medicine. He looked at us and said, you are very bright students, this and that. But it doesn't have any reason to reject us. So he approved that we get the transfer, so that he's ready to absorb us. But we should go back to Faculty of Science and seek for a release. Is that not the way it's been done in the universities? We went back to the Faculty of Science, where we came from. We told the Dean of the Faculty, okay, we have been offered places in medicine, please release us. I mean, we are so sure that we won't have any option too, other than to do what? To sign us off. The man looked at all of us, said, now, all of you, you have scored very well in my faculty. Now you want to carry these A students to Faculty of Medicine. Now, so that on the day of your graduation, Faculty of Medicine will be clapping for first-class students. And I will be having what? Maybe 2-2, third class, passes. And he said, but people will not know that all of you started from Faculty of Science. At that point, I went to my uncle. My uncle was a lawyer, was a lecturer in Faculty of Law then, who happens now to be a friend to my faculty, the dean of my faculty. I said, okay, I have a chance. My uncle took me to the faculty, dean of faculty, and the man was so blunt. He said, sorry, even you have brought him. They came to me in the office, and I've told them that I will not release any of them. My uncle didn't have any other option than to tell me, you have to go and do your science. I said, what can I do in science? And before then, I didn't know much about geology. I just see geology as part of geography. That's the way I was looking at it then. So And the man said, go and look for a course in Faculty of Science, but I can prescribe geology for you. I said, geology? To be playing with sand. Go, go and be picking stones all over the place, which I'm still doing to today. So I didn't have any other option than to continue. Some of my friends took another form for the following year and applied to other universities, and some of them have graduated as medical doctors now. But what I'm saying is that even though I find myself in geology, I didn't regret going that line. I just said, I want to have the best of this situation in which I found myself. And today, as I'm standing with you, I'm not in any regret whatsoever that I'm in that situation. Because the medicine that was in my mind, my daughter has done it. And she's a GP in UK. So, I mean, I was satisfied, in that area. So I don't want you to see yourself and say, oh, what is this geoscience about? I mean, what can I do with it? There are so many things that have been stated that you can do. I mean, it's all there for you. And as the chairman was saying initially, you see, in the early days, when I joined Shell, I started with Shell. They attached me to a senior person to train me. And he always asked me, go to drive, go and pick the seismic lines, this and that. He gave me a list of seismic lines to pick. I pick them, I look at them. I just see wiggles. Wiggles. I said, how do they look at these things? The man said, no, this is what you are going to use. I said, But later on, there was transformation in data acquisition, and we were able to see the seismic lines looking better compared with those of the 70s. I mean, my Oga Orife here can testify to that. But by the time in the 80s, 80 to early 90s, you are beginning to see good data. But today, what are we seeing? 3D volume. I know if I give the lines I started with to any of you that can interpret a little bit now, you will say, these people must be magicians. That's what you will say. Because you said, if I put a fault, you say, I can't see the fault you have put now. I can't see it. Because it's not visible to people. You have to bend your head on one side to look at it. It's on paper. It's you, your paper, and your pencil. You bend down to look at the lines as it's going before you put your fault. So, but things have evolved over time, and it's still evolving today. And that is the thing you should prepare yourself for. Change is constant. There will be changes even before you leave the university. People have said, yes, artificial intelligence is on. I was talking to one student some time ago. I know it's none of you people here. These are the people in social sciences. Said, he came to me and said, I want to write a project. You want to write a project? Okay, fine. When are you starting? Have you gotten your topic? He said, yes, I've gotten my topic. And this person has just 3 months to go in the university. And he said, he's just getting the topic. I said, when are you going to collect your data, analyze your data, then write your report, then defend your thesis, and then the external examiner will come? All those things take a long time. So I know, that things are more than that. Do you know, within 1.5 months, This boy came with his thesis. I now sat him down. I said, how did you do it? You must explain to me. Because in my own time, my lecturer would drive me to Igala. Just show me the map and just say, that is the Igala mountain. You can see it on the map. That is it. If you take your map, you go over Semolika and drop on the other side and make sure you collect samples every 20 meters, carrying samples, rock samples behind your back from one side to the top and down. And these are areas where they do one spiritual thing on that mountain that time. We didn't know that it was time for their celebration. We just woke up one day and wanted to go across to the other side. And here we saw so many people there. That was when I knew that they always do one ceremony on top of that mountain. People from all walks of life, they were there. Meanwhile, my lecturer didn't tell me anything, that such a thing goes on there. I said, what is all this? We are not afraid. But initially, some of us just said, no, what are they doing? Let's go, Gary. And we're doing our work. Nobody molested us. Even though our lecturers, the first day he came with us, have taken us around the chiefs, the Oba's place. We've gone to see them, and they put us in one primary school because they are on holidays that time. So we shall be sleeping in that primary school. In fact, I'm surprised that we have so many ladies in geosciences these days. In those days, there are only two ladies in our class of 45. We just said, oh, you see, you know you can't walk. Just be cooking for us. Just be cooking for us. We'll do the trekking and come back, but we'll explain everything to you when we come back. And that time, there was no fear. And I don't know how many of you have been to Igala. Okay, it's a popular place now. You can imagine going across the mountain one, then trekking on the other side to Ibilo, from Igala to Ibilo. We are not afraid of snake or lion coming out. When the local people see us, they say, okay, because the Obas have already told them, students are around. When they see us on their farms, they just greet us and they go. And that's the way it has been. But it's discouraging to so many people. But I want to encourage you that continue. Don't have your full focus just in oil industry. There are so many areas you can work. Now, what is the impact of geoscience education in Nigeria? You can see the map of Nigeria here. You can see these are various minerals that have been discovered in all these places. Hardly is there any area that you don't have one mineral or the other. And the list continues by the day. And these are effects of your mapping exercises that were being done by students from the inception to today. And everything being put together, and also by the geological survey. Everything being put together, and we have all these minerals in there. Who is going to mine them? It's you. I also remember when I finished and when I left Shell and I joined a local consulting outfit called Geotech Systems Limited. And part of our effort then was to look to all those industries we have around. What do they use for their products? I was mandated to go around. I went to Lever Brothers. Lever Brothers, they do toothpaste, they do soap. So what do you use at the end of the day? We found out that they use kaolin as part of the things they use in mixing all these things. I say, kaolin? I know where it is now. It's in Kankara. We'll go there. Our supplier said, are you sure? I said, yes. So also, we went to Lever Brothers. They have one chemical they usually order from abroad. Only to discover that this chemical they are calling chemical is sodium sulfate. Sodium aluminous sulfate. And I told them, we know where it is in Nigeria now. They said, are you sure? We want to see it. We went there. We collected the raw samples. And we brought it to them. They said, are you sure this is also in Nigeria? I said, yes, it's in Nigeria. I went to the paint industry. Paint industry, they said, yes, we need you. What are you using? The cost of importation of our materials is getting too high. What do you use? What are these things that you import? And they said it's one white mineral. I said, one white mineral. What is it called? Give us a sample. We went to the lab and tested it, only to discover it's calcium carbonate. I said, calcium carbonate, and you are ordering from abroad. We have it here in plenty. It's there in Ukbila. It's there in Calabar. All over the place. I followed trailer from Ukbila to Warri to go and pulverize it to the mesh size they require, and then bring it again in trailers to Lever Brothers. You see, all these industries, they need your activity. Are you talking of cement? You all know of the cement companies now. Everywhere. But the way people are doing it now, like all the people mining gold in Elisha, Ife environment, they are just digging, go to the riverside, wash it and that. No. There are better ways of mining this thing. Go to the north, they created a lot of holes here and there, and at times they all fall into the caves and they die. But that's not the way. You need to, first of all, determine the thickness of your deposit, determine the extent, and determine how buried it is. Is it that you have to do excavation? It's not by manual labor. There are machines now that you can use to excavate until you get to the depth you are looking for. So as a geologist or geoscientist, you have so many areas by which you can work, because we have all these minerals available. Now, all I'm saying is that geoscience education has had a significant impact on the industrialization of Nigeria, primarily by contributing to the exploration and development of the abundant natural resources. This industrialization influence can be articulated as follows. You have the natural resources, exploration and exploitation. That is all these minerals I've talked about. You have environmental management. It also allows for people to do research, to know what are the composition of these minerals, where can I get it? And then energy production, infrastructural development. I mean, a geologist can work on the roadside, excavate the surface, the topsoil, try and know what is available there. That's why you see most of our roads failing, because they didn't allow the geologists to do their work. you determine what type of soil is that on that road that they are making. And you now come back and do better, give them better solution to make the road to be very okay. And I think it also allows for the education and training, and of course, water resource management. Next slide, please. Let me just round up. I've talked about this. Continue. Continue. Yes, I've talked about this, that the oil sector is the ones most of us are focusing on, but it's not the end of it all. Next slide. Now, what are the challenges that are faced by geoscience education in Nigeria? A lot of it has been mentioned by my earlier speakers. The inadequate funding of the institutions, the infrastructure and facility deficit, brain drain, inadequate funds for research and development, adequate field hands-on training, and lack of government, industry, academia collaboration, and security challenges. All these, I think, we have talked about today. Next slide. Now, is the way forward. The way forward in retooling this geoscience education, one, to deliberate and improve funding in research and development by both public and private sector. We need adequate funding for our institutions to do all the things that we have asked them to do, and intensive field work and practical training program is very necessary for the student. I mean, when they call you to go for a field work, don't see it as a punishment. You really need it. It will help you in your development. And government to make policies to enhance technical and technology institutions. And student engagement and mentorship, which my earlier speaker have touched on. And gender and diversity inclusion. I've said it earlier that I'm surprised that to see a lot of ladies in geology these days. Then our academic curriculum enhancement. I mean, that has also been spoken upon by earlier speakers. We need to really look at it very well. I mean, there are so many things that is expected of a graduate which is supposed to have known from university, but is only getting to know them when it gets to the place of work. But the way we see the future is that we want students who will get to the office and start work and being productive from day one. That is the type of geoscientist we are looking at. Then the collaboration between the government, academia, and private entities. That has also been talked about by earlier speakers. What I only wanted to add is that we in ND Western, we are trying to revive a program that was initially started by Shell, which was the special intensive training program for fresh graduates. I mean, we take people in as fresh graduates or before then, and then you train them in the rudiments of the job, because we found out over time that people who came into the industry at the machine level, when they produce their maps, you don't see geology in it. You can't make geology out of those maps, because it's just a matter of moving the mouse, press this and that, and then you ask the machine, bring out the map, garbage in, garbage out. There has to be an intellectual feeding into that software to bring out a geologically reasonable map for you at the end of the day. So at this point, I want to thank you for coming to this conference, and I believe that you gain a lot from all that will be said in this conference, and I wish you best of luck. Thank you.
We thank you very much, sir. Please let's give him another round of applause. Permit me to call Professor A.B. Ekwolatu, who is representing the NUC Commission, the Executive Secretary, to please come for his goodwill message. Thank you very much, sir. Please come to the podium, sir.
With the permission of the chairman of today's occasion, I will adopt the already well-established protocols. And I bring us greetings from the National Universities Commission, and especially from the Acting Executive Secretary in the person of Ambassador Chris Bayaki, who would have loved so very much to be here today, but for other very important official assignments. But because he considers this mini conference to be very, very important, he mandated me to come and to first of all convey his warm greetings to the organizers of this event, the Nigerian Association of Petroleum Explorationists, NAPE, and the Nigerian Mining Geosciences Society. And I'd like to read the address he prepared on his behalf. So I read thus. I'm delighted by the invitation of the Nigerian Association of Petroleum Explorationists and the Nigerian Mining Geosciences Society to be part of this very important conference organized for geosciences students in Nigeria. And it is noted that it's not very common to organize conferences just for students. The NUC takes note of this and recognizes this as a very important platform for training geosciences students. And it's something that geosciences students across the country should appreciate and make the best of. As this program kicked off this morning, I sat out there and I was thinking, and it occurred to me that all through my training at the undergraduate and even master's and PhD levels, I can't remember attending an event like this. So I want to say that this is a very rare privilege which you should appreciate and make the best of. Now, from the theme of this mini conference, which is retooling geoscience education in Nigeria, current trends and emerging realities. It is evident that the organizers of this event are sensitive to the need for all programs administered in our universities to be socially relevant and responsive to the dynamics of change in our society at the local, national, and global levels, and also profile lasting solutions to the skill-related challenges that face our students and graduates on the one hand, and on the other hand, provide them opportunities to optimize their potentials. And it is in this regard that the National Universities Commission recognizes that this conference is very much consistent with the ongoing drive by the Commission to ensure that all university programs incorporate the 21st century hard, soft, and media skills relevant to each of them. This drive resulted in the NUC's newly launched Core Curriculum Minimum Academic Standards, popularly called the CCMAS, the implementation of which is expected to commence from the month of September this year, that is this month. And this should take off across all federal, state, and private universities in the country. I noted that reference has been made to the CCMAS earlier today, and with particular reference to the Geosciences program across our universities in Nigeria. And some complaints have been made about the CCMAS not incorporating certain courses considered to be core courses as far as these programs are concerned. I'd like to say that generally speaking, it seems as if the CCMAS is misconstrued by many people. Many people criticize the CCMAS without having taken time to carefully interrogate both the letter and the spirit of the effort spearheaded by the National Universities Commission. And I think it's important that we appreciate that I occupy two very important positions. On the one hand, my primary calling is the university. I'm primarily a university lecturer. I just happen for now to be a visiting professor at the National Universities Commission. So I'm not necessarily holding brief for the Commission, but at the same time, it's important that we seek to clarify issues when they arise. And it is from this perspective that I want us to understand that the CCMAS actually started unfolding about the year 2020, that's about 3 years ago. And universities were approached. And initially, the idea was that universities should develop the CCMAS 100%. But many of our colleagues felt otherwise. At that time, when this started, I was a Deputy Vice Chancellor academic in my university, so I knew what was actually going on there. But after a lot of negotiation, a lot of pressure, the NEC suggested that universities should develop 50%, and the NEC would spearhead the development of the other 50%. Our colleagues felt otherwise again. And after much persuasion, representatives of our universities agreed that the NEC should be saddled with the responsibility of developing 70%, and universities should develop 30%. And I want to say that while we recognize that no document is perfect, as it is now, the structure of the CCMAS is such that the NEC has provided 70% of the content, and universities, based on their peculiarities, areas of competence, and peculiar local realities where they are located, they are to constitute the remaining 30%. And in this regard, I'd like to encourage, I hope we've done it, and if we have not, I believe there are still opportunities to do it. 2 weeks ago, there was a colloquium at the Commission in Abuja where representatives were invited from all the universities in Nigeria so that we could all come together, review the CCMAS, identify the shortfalls and the strengths, and see how the document can be improved. And also, universities were encouraged to ensure that they complete their 30%. So the idea is that the Department of Geosciences in UNILAG, for instance, should develop 30% of the curriculum for its program. And that provides an opportunity for the department to identify the shortfalls and see how it can be breached and addressed. But I was also happy noting that NAPE has endeavored to study the curriculum very closely, identify shortfalls, and is in the process of preparing a document in this regard that will be submitted to the National Universities Commission. I'm very sure that the Commission will be happy to receive that document, and the needful will be done. Having said that, I want to move on to say that there's no doubt about it that our challenges in Nigeria are many, and these cut across all areas of our social existence. These impair our sustainable development as a country, and especially as sustainable development is specified by the United Nations Millennium Sustainable Goals. So it is important for all of us as stakeholders in the Nigerian project to see how we can cooperate and ensure that our country develops. And it's also very interesting to note that Nigeria, being an oil-dependent economy, puts geoscientists and also those in the oil exploration sector at a vantage position, and it also imposes upon us additional responsibility to deploy our specialized problem-solving skills and learning towards the achievement of the sustainable development goals. The developmental issues, geoscientists and petroleum explorationists are specially equipped to address include those related to the climate, energy, mineral resources, and water. And I want to say that as scholars, as professionals, and as students, we all should, among other things, consistently provide relevant information with adequate scientific foundation to guide policymakers and society towards achieving sustainable development with specific reference to healthy environment and enhanced human welfare. Now, from the theme of this conference, a question that really comes to mind is this: why do we need to retool geoscience education? And when we talk about retooling, the idea that will come to mind is, how do we make it better? How do we make it more functional? How do we organize the geoscience program, the geoscience education, in ways that will make it more functional and address the problems it's meant to address more efficiently and in a more sustainable manner? I want to say again that this issue of retooling is very much in line with what the NOC is trying to do with the introduction of the CCMAS. What are we trying to do? trying to see how programs can be better. How do we ensure that our graduates are better trained, are better equipped, so that on graduation they are globally competitive, they are efficient in their various areas of calling. And one thing that I want us to know is that as far as the education system in Nigeria is concerned, the idea, the philosophy behind our training programs isn't just to train us for functionality within the national economy, but it is for us to be relevant and be able to function effectively, compete for jobs anywhere in the world. So the idea is to make us global citizens. And it is in this light that I'd like to emphasize that one of the things the NUC is very much interested in doing is to sharpen, to help us sharpen our employability skills. And this, of course, like I said earlier, will consist of the hard skills you need to have as geoscientists, the soft skills which you need to have, as well as the media skills that you need to have. Earlier today, reference has been made to the need for us to be IT savvy. We need to have some basic understanding of perhaps robotics. Emphasis was laid on coding. These are the things that the new curriculum is meant to incorporate. Hitherto, all these things are not in the BMAS, that is the Basic Minimum Academic Standards document. But the NOC is being sensitive to global realities, to the unfolding technologies, and to the new demands in the industry. Of course, it's been said earlier that hitherto, when graduates are employed freshly, they are subjected to a training period before they can become functional in the workplace. But it's been said, and it is true by the first keynote presenter, I think Mrs. Ajayi, that employers are not interested in doing this again. They want to employ people that can start working immediately. And it is this demand, it is this reality that the CCMAS is designed to meet. That is the spirit behind the CCMAS. But of course, nobody is saying that it is a perfect document. But with the cooperation of all stakeholders, including our dear students, it can work, it will be improved, and the purpose will be served. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell us that this conference is very, very important because it would raise a number of questions that we should address. And these are reflected in the sub-themes of the conference, which include geoscience education and the development of entrepreneurship and innovative mindsets. I was very much excited when the chairman of this occasion said that we should seek to be geopreneurs. And that says that as we're undergoing our training, we should be seeing entrepreneurship possibilities in our training and see what we can do for ourselves, not just to become job seekers, but to become job creators. And if we study again the system very well, we will see that two major things are introduced into it. One is entrepreneurship, and the other is employability. So if we take time to understand what the basic contents of the system is, I believe that we'll begin to see the advantages inherent in them. So these are the other sub-themes of the conference, as I'm made to understand, include the following: relevance of geoscience education in current energy transition dynamics, digitalization and artificial intelligence in oil, gas, and mineral exploration, basin studies, exploration and exploitation of mineral resources, opportunities, and current realities, environmental and sustainability in mineral exploration. Now, the question now is, many of these sub-themes before were not in the curriculum of study. So the challenge is that as we now begin to tinker with at least the 30% of the CCMAS, we need to pay attention to how these can be incorporated into our curriculum, because these are some of the live issues, the current issues depicting the reality in our field of study that we need to incorporate, and which as students we need to prepare for upon graduation, because these are the things that will put us in a good stead for either employment anywhere in the world, or for us to become geopreneurs, as we have been told today. And on this note, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, our esteemed students and all participants at this conference, the NEC, and especially our Acting Executive Secretary, hopes that justice will be done to the salient issues relating to the broad and sub-themes of this conference by all speakers and resource persons. And the ES asked me to specifically tell us that the National Universities Commission is very happy to support all stakeholders in the field of geosciences and in all academic fields administered across our universities in Nigeria, to ensure that they are all globally relevant while they remain locally responsive. And in this light, the acting ES asked me to tell us, especially the organizers of this event, that they should feel free to contact the Commission for any support or for any collaboration to enhance the quality and the standard of our programs, and invariably of our graduates. On this note, I'd like to wish us all a very fruitful deliberation, and say again, thank you so very much for inviting the Commission to be part of this event. It's a great privilege. On behalf of our acting ES, Ambassador Chris Maeki, I thank you all very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Please let's give him another round of applause. Thank you. In our usual way, we must say thank you to all those who are taking time to speak to us. They have laid the foundation, and it will be built on by the lead papers in the afternoon. We will leave this place in the next 15 minutes because we understand some of our brothers must go to pray for us, and we also must take some lunch as well. But before we go, let me call to please come and present to the second keynote speaker, Engineer Umar A. Hassan. Please come. And permit me to call on representative of Engineer Oji to please come to collect our token of appreciation. Please clap for them as they come.
Mr. Chairman, great geosciences students, it's my privilege and honor to present a recognition award to Engineer Ebekchukwu Oji for the wonderful presentation that they made to us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. The UAP President, Chair, please come to present our gift to Professor Ekmola.
I believe we've all heard from the horse's mouth today, from NUC, about the CCMAS. If you have any further questions as well, you can still engage us outside here. So I'm presenting this on behalf of NAPE and NMGS, this recognition award presented to Professor A.B. Ekunola, being the lead paper presenter of the 11th NAPE-NMGS mini conference. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, sirs. Of course, the last but not the least, let me call the president of NMGS to please come and help us say thank you to the chairman. Sirs, please come to the podium.
On behalf of the NAPE and NMGS, I want to present this recognition award to past presidents Jim Orife for chairing this update ceremony. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. Please let's give them another big round of applause. To properly thank us all, let me call Engineer Omare Azan, PhD, FNMGS, Vice President, NMGS, to come and say thank you to us all. Please clap as he comes.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, great GEOSCIENCE students, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the organizers of the 11th NMGS NAPE conference, I sincerely wish to thank our host, the University of Lagos, specifically the Vice Chancellor, Professor Folashade Ogunshola, and also her management for availing us the opportunity to use the facilities that the university gave us to use. And we also want to sincerely thank the Dean of Science that presented the VC in the remarks that he made to us. Kindly permit me also to thank Mr. Jim Orife, FNMGS, FNAPE, and the past president of the chairman of Legal Fellows for NMGS, for the wonderful leadership that he gave to this occasion. May I also seek the opportunity to thank the resource persons, namely Mrs. Olajunike, Engineer Eberechukwu, the Dr. Godwin Allo, as well as Dr. Martins for their presentations they made to us yesterday. And we also pray to God Almighty to increase them in knowledge and wisdom and in good health. Please allow me to also thank the numerous organizations and persons that made it possible for our great students to be here. They are so numerous to mention them by name, because there are over 30, and there are also some amongst them that silently did it. And we can already say that thank you, and we hope that you continue to support our great students. The sacrifices of the participants, you great students, cannot be overemphasized. We sincerely appreciate you for all the sacrifices you made and risk taken to be here. Imagine those traveling all the way from Maiduguri, the south and all the place. We hope that the lessons that you learn from this exercise will be beneficial to you, and also not just keep it to yourself, but share it with your colleagues as we go back to universities. In concluding, kindly permit me to also thank the presidents of NMGS and Nape for Professor A.S. Akinola and Mr. Elliot Ebe for giving the necessary approvals to the organizing committee, especially with regard to funding to make this conference a reality. May I also thank the LOC, ably led by Professor Madam Odukoya, for her able leadership and for the sacrifices made by the various members of the LOC, as well as the National Organizing Committee that really worked hours and hours to make this conference a reality. I cannot thank you all for coming, and as you travel back after the conference, may God Almighty take us back to our various destinations safely, and also make the outcome of this conference a reality and a source of inspiration for all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'll crave the indulgence of the LOC to please come up stage to be able to take some pictures with the dignitaries on the high table. The LOC, please. Professor Odukoya, that's you and the team. Please come. As you step out to the foyer, there's a place that you can take even good pictures after you've managed to take the one of this beautiful ambience. So, and like I said, don't forget to get to the lagoon front. Don't swim. We do not have lifesavers around. Just go there. The night views are beautiful.
And the planning committee.
And the central planning committee, please come up stage. Executives of NAPO and NMGS, please come up stage. Thank you very much. So that we can all have a beautiful picture together.
We're not the LOC. Ǹjẹ́ wo ló di LOC tó lọ lọ? Orúkọ ẹ̀ wà ńbẹ̀. Mo dáràn. No, it will take everybody and it will be beautiful. That's the most important
Are you sure you're getting everybody? If you stand where he's standing, you'll get everybody. No, stand where he's standing. Sir, you might need to move backward a little bit. And you can do ovation style.
All right, are we ready? Yeah. All right, let's be careful. We go in 3, 2, 1, action. One more. Last word.
So we will bring to close this first half of this event, which is the opening ceremony. We will gather back here in this same hall at 2:30 p.m. And that time between now and then will allow us to go and pray, would also allow us to have some lunch. And as we come back, it will be time for quiz. And like the chair prayed just before I came up stage, she said she prays Unilag wins because the monetary involvement is huge. And I told her I am adding a loud amen. But I know that there are also others who had come. They didn't come to play in Lagos. They also came to win. And so we know that it's going to be a beautiful time even for the quiz. And then we'll have the lead papers thereafter. So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and our dear students, please let's be upstanding, and we will round up with the national anthem for this opening ceremony. Please let's be upstanding. We'll take the national anthem to round up the opening ceremony. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Do University of Lagos. Do University of Lagos. You've started. The national anthem. Thank you very much. Please just clear the aisle so that the people on the high table can make their way out. Just clear the aisle. We'll gather back here at 2:30 so that we can continue. Thank you.